This will be our final question. We are often asked what determines the timeline for getting a new school built and also how we determine how big it's going to be. To walk us through that will be Jessima Lambert from Construction Planning.
Upon determining that a school is required, we are now ready to build it. The sizes of our schools are based on an educational framework that was approved by the board in 2004. This framework was based on a study that recommended school capacities in line with state and federal laws. The result of the study recommended the following school sizes. For an elementary school, we built it to a capacity for 830 students. For a middle school, the capacity is built for 1,215 students. A K-8, being very similar to a middle school, is built to a capacity of approximately 1,200 students. And our high school is built for a capacity to hold 2,776 students. Having a consistent prototype size allows the district to efficiently plan resources needed to build, maintain, and operate a school. As you can see, we have a multi-layered approach to determining when a school will be relieved. Once the priority is set and the budget and resources are allocated, the process for building a school begins. This chart shows the total duration for building an elementary, middle or K-8, and a high school. The life cycle starts with acquiring the site, which typically takes 1 to 2 years. Next is the planning phase, followed by the design and bidding phase, and then construction begins. Typically, from site acquisition to building completion, it takes approximately 5 years to open a high school, 4 years for a middle or K-8 school, and 3 years for an elementary school. This is a longer timeline than for commercial or residential building projects because as a governmental agency, we have additional safeguards in place to ensure we are complying with all statutory requirements. This includes the state building code requirements and the state requirements for educational facilities or SREF, as well as specific bidding rules, which includes the Consultant Competitive Negotiation Act, also known as the CCNA process. Since 2012, the total cost to build an elementary school has increased by 33%. Local market conditions have contributed to this increase. We are experiencing a high volume of construction locally, which includes the I-4 project, theme parks, and residential construction. We also have a low unemployment rate, which leads to a shortage of skilled labor. We have seen increases in material prices due to many factors, including tariffs on imported steel and aluminum. With a very robust construction market, subcontractors can command a higher profit for their work. Site development costs can vary significantly as well. Off-site utilities are not always available within close proximity, as we showed earlier with our example for Innovation Middle School. We also had an instance at Wedgeville School where the district had to pay millions to provide safe drinking water to the site due to the lack of utility infrastructure. While all of this building is happening, OCPS staff is meeting with the community, the school community, to get feedback. In October of 2011, the school board adopted a policy that established a community meeting process. The intent of these community meetings is not only to inform the public about the school project, but to hear and respond to their thoughts and concerns. A PowerPoint is presented by the architect that shows various aspects of the school project, including the conceptual site plan, floor plans, and the project schedule. For meetings after design has concluded, the construction manager also presents on the progress of the construction. We also address questions from previous meetings. After the presentation, we open the floor to questions and comments from the audience. This chart illustrates the different meetings and the stage of design and construction when these meetings occur. The number of community meetings depend on the type of school. Since it takes less time to build an elementary school, there are fewer meetings than for a high school. Typically, 4 meetings are conducted for an elementary school, 5 for a middle or K-8 school, and 6 for a high school. And now, Dr. McGowan of Student Enrollment will explain the school rezoning process.
So at this point, we're ready to determine what students will attend the new school. We have a school board policy, JC, that outlines the process that we are to follow. Student enrollment is charged with researching the area, the number of students, and the demographics of the students. Our department provides the number of students who reside in the area at the time of rezoning, the projected number of students when the school opens, the demographic data on the residing students, and the data includes percent of students by race and ethnicity, the percent of students who score level 1 or 2 on the FSA math and reading test, the percent who are in our exceptional education program, and the percent who are English language learners. This policy has 3 times for the community to provide input. Step 5, the community meeting, is when staff provides the options and has people here that answer any questions that people have. At the Rural Development Workshop, student enrollment presents the options that were shown to the community to the school board, and community members provide the board with their opinion on which option should be adopted. Then our board comes to a consensus on which option or options should be taken to the public hearing. The public hearing is a scheduled part of a school board meeting. At this meeting, the option or options that were agreed upon the Rural Development Workshop are presented to the board, community members speak, and the school board votes. The school board is the only group that can change a boundary line. This past spring, we rezoned for 3 schools, 25E SW4, 49E W4, and 37M SW4. All 3 schools are located in Horizon West. You can find the approved school zones on our OCPS website that Lauren's putting up for you. And we have the link at the top, and then the area that you would look at to see the board approved zones. Also at this site, you can see the rezoning initiatives. Rezonings for new schools occur approximately 18 months prior to the opening of the new school. Lauren?
I hope you've been able to gain some insight into the way OCPS plans and builds schools. Those of us up here are proud to be part of this process, which is building and replacing schools at a pace unmatched anywhere else in the country. If you're interested in learning more, on our website at facilities.ocps.net, you can go to the Building Schools link to see fact sheets on every project that we have in planning, design, construction, or closeout for more details on where that project is. And if you go to the Your Tax Dollars at Work page, you can see the list of schools that are going to be built in the next 10 years, including the ones that are renovations. You can also see a map of all of the existing and proposed school sites. And you can also see completed schools. We have pictures of completed schools there. Do any of the board members want to say anything before we go to intermission?
I would like to say one thing. You know, this was a wonderful presentation. Thank you for being so thorough. I know we've had a lot of dialogue between Mrs. Flynn, myself, other board members giving input into the content of this, but you all have done a tremendous job. at the end of the day, it is a very complicated process, but the reality is it's also a financial one. And if we had all of the money in the world, we could solve a lot of problems. I've been asked multiple times this week of how people can help with trying to secure more funding. I think there's a simple math number here, and when you were talking about the PICO funds and the separation of PICO funds, that's a very palatable number to handle. So there's approximately $6 million given to charter schools, and we are great partners with charter schools, but I'm just talking about math here. They serve about 14,000 children. We got approximately $2 million in change, and we have a 209,000 students we serve. There's something wrong with that math when we're looking at trying to serve the populations. My second thing that I'd like people to be aware of as we come back from the break financially, we're a state that is promoting economic development in a huge way. We are trying to attract in all sectors. We want more businesses to locate here, which means more